Hey everyone, how's it going? My name is James and welcome back to the Soundline. So today is going to be quite an exciting one for us today. We're starting the transformation of our home theatre by acoustically treating it. We're using Artnovion. It's a new brand that we're getting into. We're really excited about it. It looks like it's going to be some really nice equipment to work with. Basically the plan is, as you may be aware, we have a home theatre here in our showroom. I'll give you a little tour of that in a second. The plan is to kind of treat this room to make it sound a lot more perfect, because at the moment it's very echoey, so there's a lot of, reverb and all that sort of thing. So we just want to make sure that this room is sounding as perfect as it can, because as we have learned going through this process, with a properly treated room, you can make a $50 system sound like $1 million system. So that's kind of the thing we want to do now. We've done almost everything we possibly can in this theatre to make it sound good. We've got it fully wired for all the channels you can possibly do. We're using 11 channels at the moment, and we have wired for up to 32 of them, so we've got lots of room for expansion. Obviously we've got a projector on the ceiling, really high-end projector screen, and control system and subwoofers and everything like that. So really for us, the next thing to do is treat the room properly, and this is going to be that video detailing that. So this is our theatre. You may have seen it in some of my other videos. It's a Dolby Atmos 7.2.4 system. So we have 7 surround sound channels on the floor, obviously left, centre, right, surrounds and back surrounds, and then dot 2 meaning 2 subwoofers, and dot 4 meaning, kind of hard to see, but there are 4 in-ceiling speakers up there, so 4 Atmos channels. All of that is running off the equipment in this cabinet here. We have an Arcam AVR 850 AV receiver, which is powering the 7 floor channels. And then we have an Arcam P429 4-channel amp powering the height channels. And obviously the subwoofers are self-powered. We have inputs for Sky or Foxtel if you're in Australia, Apple TV, Chromecast, Blu-ray player. This is the Panasonic UB9000. It's currently one of the better ones out there that you can get. And we usually control that all either with Savant or Control 4. Now, for the screen at the moment, we have a Stewart Screens Studio Tech 130 with the Lux trim around the outside. It's awesome screen. This is 135 inch, by the way. I'm not actually sure if I'm capturing the whole thing there, but it's 135 inches, pretty big, really good looking. And at the moment for a projector, we have got the JVC N7. We've had all sorts of projectors up here. At the moment we're playing a lot with the Sony and JVC range. We've had the N5, the N7 now, the NX9, and we've had the Sony VP360, 560 and 760, and even the Sony 870, which is still the best projector you can get for a residential application in our opinion. That's an awesome projector. We hope to have that in here in maybe the next sort of couple months or something. So what you probably need to know going in, if you're watching this because you saw that it has acoustic treatment in it and you know a little bit about it, this is our very first experience with it. So if in the course of the video we do something wrong or I say something that's not quite correct, just give me the benefit of the doubt. This is our first time doing it, so we are learning. We know exactly what we're going to be doing because the treatment that we're doing in this room has actually been designed by Artnovion themselves. We gave them the dimensions of the room, the materials, what equipment we were using, and they actually came back to us with a proposal about what panels to put where. So we're following their design, I guess. We'll be doing a fair bit of diffusion, some absorbers, a couple of bass traps, and the main panels that are going in here are going to be a hybrid diffuser absorber. So that'll be interesting. I've got a few of them just chilling down here because we've been, playing with them. This is the hybrid diffuser absorber. It's the Avalon Flow. So it's actually a diffuser with absorbing panels built in. We don't really know what to expect. We've seen the specifications of, what Artnovion is saying is going to change about the room and the RT and everything like that. But we're not going to know until we hear it once it's all set up. So I'm not really sure how I'm going to lay out this video. I'll try and film some pieces here and there, but for the most part I'll have a great big long time lapse going of the install. So yeah, enjoy the rest of the video. So it's going pretty well so far, guys. We've gotten like almost the whole back wall and this whole right side wall here done. We're just sort of figuring this out as we go. So basically working out the installation process is taking a bit longer than we expected, but you know, it's all a learning process. We got the bass traps up first because we knew that those are going to be kind of stuck right into the corner, and that would define where all the other panels sort of went. So we got those up on their rails. The bass traps and these foam panels here are all mounted on these kind of like metal rails here, and they just clip onto, I think I took some little shots, but those little plastic clips there are fastened to the wall, and then either half length or full length rails clip on top of those. And then there's more of those clips on the back sides of these panels, and the whole thing just pops on into place. And then for these ones, these are the Avalon Flows, which are a hybrid absorber diffuser. Behind, I think each panel has 6 fasteners in it, just 6 screws, and they're hidden in behind some of these foam pieces here. And what Tony's doing at the moment is these foam pieces that lean forward actually have a little piece of 3M adhesive on the back of it, which when you peel it off, obviously you just stick it down and then it hides the fastener. So we'll just do that. We're going to give this room a bit of a vacuum, clean the side up, move all of this stuff over to the other side of the room and start over on that side. I reckon we're going pretty well. What time is it? Just about 12 o'clock. I reckon we'll get both the walls done today, and then we'll have to, you know, come back and look at doing the ceiling another day, because I don't think we're going to have time for it, and that's also going to be another whole learning process in itself as to how we want to get those mounted up into the ceiling. But what we have got going up in the ceiling is more of these. These are the Logan diffusers. They're quite heavy, so we've got a bunch of those going up, and some Helen absorbers, which are these over here. I have one just chilling on the ground. It's basically the same as the Andes absorber that we have on the wall, but just a flat version. So they'll go on the ceiling later on, but for now, it's looking pretty good. It's already sounding pretty good as well. Just from being in here, I can instantly hear that this room is sounding a lot more uniform and inert, so it's not like echoey like a bathroom. So yeah, we'll continue on getting this cleaned up, moving on to the other side, and see where we get to by the end of the day. Okay everyone, well the room is done. I don't know if it's coming through in the microphone or not, but we can already hear a massive improvement in the RT of this room just by standing in here and talking in it. Or even just by standing here, you don't even have to talk, you can just be in here and you can just hear how much more quiet the room is. It's so much more inert, there's less echo, less reverb, it sounds much more like a studio, it sounds awesome. I'll quickly, whip around the room with the camera and talk about the different panels that we've put in. Again, remember, this is not like what we've chosen, this is what Artnovion has specified and recommended for this room. So we've followed their instructions to the letter with like 1 or 2 very small changes and a couple of things that we're still yet to do that we might do later down the track, but for now I'll show you everything that's been done. I have to turn the microphone around, otherwise you're not going to hear me because this is going to absorb all the sound. So on the back wall, either side of the door that you enter through, we've got 4 diffusers. These are the Logans, the Logans, a panel here and a panel here. The colour I believe is Wenge, which is like, kind of a dark ebony, blacky oak sort of colour. So they're diffusers, they're wooden material with these different pockets in them, entirely wooden. I'll go around in this direction because it's the exact mirror image of it on that side, so it's just the exact same over here. Right next to it we've got 2 Andes, very hard to see on camera I guess because they're black, but these are like foam Andes panels, so they're absorbers, they're squishy, and they kind of have this, I wonder if how I can show you, I don't know if this is coming up or not, but they have this kind of almost aeroplane wing type of shape. I might be able to show you one down there more in the light, but we have 2 Andes there. This is the Sienna wall bass trap, so this is a bass trap, but it's not the corner one like Artnovion do. This is actually a wall model, but Artnovion themselves specified this one for the corner, so we've done that, and it's actually in completely hollow behind there. I don't know if you can see or not because it's very dark. Obviously we wanted this room to be dark, it is a theatre. So Sienna bass trap, 4 more Andes absorbers. I have to stand back so it doesn't fill the whole screen with black, and we've got these mounted in a kind of an interesting way. Actually, I could get my torch out, couldn't I? There we go, that's much better. So you can see now the shape a bit better. So you can see looking up, it's got that kind of aeroplane wing type shape where it's low at one end, has a peak sort of at the 3/4 mark and then dips back down. And we've mounted these in this kind of opposing directions kind of way. So over here you can see it sticks out, dips in, sticks out and dips in. We did that just because, there's a couple of different ways you can mount these up to make them look interesting. This is one of the methods. The other way we've done it is down there, and I'll show you that in a second. So 4 Andes absorbing panels. All of this stuff here is called Avalon Flow, and it's an absorber diffuser hybrid. So these foam panels, and these are foam panels in between all of these wooden slats. So they do the absorbing, and then all the wooden slats that go along here do the diffusing. The colour we got, I believe, was Wenge Grego. So Wenge is the colour of the wood, which is kind of that dark ebony stain, and then Grego is grey, maybe coming through a wee bit yellow on the camera because of the halogen lights, but it's definitely like a stony sort of grey colour. And this stuff is interesting, so you can see it's kind of got these 2 bulgy shadows here. If you look at it from the side, those are actually 3D shapes, and the way you get these shapes is this is a complete grid of 8 separate pieces. You can kind of see the seams there, and I think Artnovion have about 5 different panel options, and you choose them depending on what type of shapes you're trying to generate. So you can see here we've got a complete circular bulge there and a half circle bulge up there, and it looks really cool because like when you sit from the seating position you get this really cool shadow effect where all you kind of see is the dark sections from that bulge, and the same goes for the other side there where we just have the singular circle. And then 4 more of the Andes absorbers at this end, except down this end we mounted them slightly different. We basically just mirrored the right to left side, so the bulge is there and there with the dip being in the middle. So 4 Andes absorbers there. Over this side obviously we have our cupboard with all of our AV gear in it, so we've just got 2 Andes absorbers there. Now we do have this great big blank section here, which we, I mean you can't fit a whole panel in there, But we've been thinking about it, and what we actually are thinking we might do in the future is get 2 more basic Avalon Flow diffusing panels, and we're actually going to cut them to size to fit down inside there, because it just looks a wee bit unfinished. If that was, you know, maybe half way more closer, it'd look okay with that gap, but we think that's just too big of a gap to leave, so we're gonna probably get a couple more panels to, and, you know, modify them to fit in there. So yeah, coming back down here, it's the exact same on this side. You can see we've got that opposing mounting style there. Now on the ceiling, we've got a few different panels. So we got 4 more Logan diffusers up here, right above our main reflection point for the ceiling. And then everywhere else, we have, that's a bank of 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. So those are all Helen absorbers. So they're exactly the same as the Andes, except they are flat. They do have a slightly different response to the Andes, but they're just a flat style, which is much more suited for ceiling applications. It just looks a bit tidier than having a whole bunch of bulges up there, I think. That's alright, they're working really well. We even noticed a difference, because there was a point where we had all of the walls up, but we didn't have the ceiling up, and we could still hear, you know, some of the reflections from the ceiling. But now that we've got these things up, it is so much quieter in here. So it really makes a difference. Only things we had to change about the design was, in the design they gave us, these banks of 4 along the front were actually squeezed together, but we had to split them because there was a measuring issue where they didn't mark where the lights were correctly, so we ended up having to split them apart to accommodate the light fixture. And so we just matched it to there, and it looks good. We clear our Atmos speakers only just. We've got this room wired for, I think, up to 8 Atmos channels, or 8 ceiling channels. At the moment we only have 4 speakers installed, and all of the speaker wires that we've got are running down the right and left sides of the room, so we know that no matter how many speakers we put in here, we'll always clear them. So that's good. Now the other thing we did do, which we are really happy with how it turned out, is these Andes panels. I don't know if you can really tell on camera, but if you look at the width of that panel, it doesn't match that. Now, because all Artnovion panels are at 595 by 595 millimeters, these ones we actually had cut down to size by an upholsterer, because they were a wee bit too big for this space. And we knew that going in, that there was going to be a fitment issue in this wall, because it's an odd size. So we couldn't quite fit, you know, 1200 plus the width of the bass trap there. So we had as I say, we had an upholsterer modify this and cut kind of, I would say, about that much off of this, and then reupholster it, and it turned out really well. We're really happy with how he did it. So that worked out really good. And then, yeah, as I say, the only thing left to do is probably that section over there. My focus is drifting. So that's all the panels in the room, guys. Yeah, I don't know if you can tell on the microphone or not, but hopefully it's coming through, because it just sounds so much cleaner in here. Now, we've done almost everything we possibly can in this theatre to make it sound good. We've got it fully wired for all the channels you can possibly do. We're really happy. One more thing to do is direct this room again. We already had it, you know, direct tuned before we had the Artnovion installed. We're going to do it again and see how much better it sounds, but we're already completely blown away with this. Very, very happy with the performance. In terms of price, because I can imagine a lot of you are probably wondering how much would it cost to do a whole room like this. Keep in mind this is New Zealand dollars, because we're down in New Zealand. So a room this size with this number of panels, ballpark figure, retail value is about $20,000. But that's just the parts. You know, if we were doing it for a customer, obviously there'd be a little bit of install labor as well. And we're thinking that it's going to take our installers, both of them, at least 2 days per room to do this, because this project here took us about 3 days, but we were, you know, learning kind of on the job as we go, figuring out how the mounting systems all work. Because as great as all the panels and performance are, unfortunately the instructions that come with them are very, very vague, and we kind of had to figure it out as we went along. So it took us about 3 days. We're hoping we'll be able to get it down to 2 days as we go forward, and we know more what we're doing, and with more of a plan kind of a plan with what we're going to do going forward. So a couple of days of labor for a couple guys, plus their initial figure for all the product. But otherwise, yeah, highly recommend it. As they say, you can make a $50 sound system sound like $1 million in a treated room, and I can understand and believe that now because it sounds so good in here. Right, sorry, I didn't get a chance to finish up that video the other day. Customer came in and then I got busy for the rest of the day talking to them and doing other jobs. So anyway, closing out the video a couple days later. Thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed it or learned something if you've been looking at Artnovion. I will put the link to their website down in the description below. If you had any comments or questions on the setup that we've done here, feel free to drop them down there and I'll do my best to answer them. If you enjoyed this video or you think it's a cool setup, give this video a thumbs up. And yeah, so that's pretty much it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching and I'll catch you in the next one. Ka kite anō.
Flip up.